All right, team. Welcome to the Microsoft Word professionalism training for the group project. And so you don't have this document. I've just created a rough document of things I want to talk about. It includes sort of all of the different pieces that you're going to need in the report. So feel free to kind of make this shell if you want. And I'm just going to make sure we have kind of everything that we need. And then I'll have kind of these quick tricks along the way. And so I'm just going to kind of go in a logical order from top to bottom. So the first thing that you need is a cover page. And so I'm going to put this, and if you're on a Mac, it may look a little bit different. Regardless, make sure you're looking at this thing full screen as you follow along. If not, Word tends to hide things if you can't see everything. So make sure that, yeah, you're looking at it full screen. So I'm going to move everything this down to a new page. And so if I go to the Insert tab and go over to the left, there's a page break. That forces everything from where I'm at down onto a new page. So I just want to move that down, page break. So it goes all the way down. And then up here, well, you need a cover page. Well, luckily, same spot, right? You can go here and you should say add a cover page. You can do the drop down, and we're not going to be like BCom in the sense that like we're very particular about how it looks. We want you to kind of have fun with these. And so it's up to you in terms of like how you want to create it. It's entirely up to you. If you want to put like just a very basic one and then maybe your company logo or something like that here, that would work. As long as we really have your group name, the project that you served, and each of the group members on there, will be happy. And again, there's a ton of stock ones. You can manually make your own ones if you don't like any of these. It's relatively easy to kind of just go through and remove or play around. And again, you may have more options than me. But yeah, just make sure you have one so it looks good. And then it's taking this on a new page. So I'm going to use delete and backspace to get it up here. And so we've knocked out our cover page. We're going to wait to do the table of contents just because a lot of people do these manually, and that's a huge waste of time, especially when you're going to be updating documents. And so first thing is, well, let's put page numbers on this just to make it look kind of nice. So again, under the Insert tab, you should see over here, right, this header and footer and then page number. You can mess around with the header and footer, but it's up to you. If you ever wondered how I get images up there, I put them in there from the header footer. But for page numbers, there's a lot of different ones you can use, like top of page, bottom of page, page margins, current position. You can do the format and do a little bit more in here. If you have different chapters, you can kind of do that. That's probably going to be more advanced than we really want. And so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do page numbers, and I'm going to do bottom of the page, and then you pick whichever one you like. I generally like over on the far right, and so you could do something like this, right, where, oh, nice. And note that you're in the footer. You can actually type things in here. And then as you go, it's going to update, and it knows that the cover page should not be a page. I believe, so when you have the header footers, this option will pop up when you're in the page. So if you click the X and you're out of it, if you ever want to go back, you just go down to the footer, you'll see your cursor kind of change, and then you double click, and this new sort of bar, and you can change the different alignments and things like that. Again, like page number options come back, and I believe you can tell it where to start. Yes, you can start wherever you want. Like I believe you start at 0. I won't do 0 because it's kind of started up there. No, that's perfectly fine. And that'll make it a lot easier for the table of contents. And I believe once we do a table of contents, you'll kind of see. So I'm going to leave this bolded, but we have the page numbers, which is nice. And again, you can do whatever format you kind of want. And then here are the sections for the report: introduction, data exploration, statistical analysis, relevance defined, regular conclusion, appendix. And you want each of those to have their own spot in a table of contents. And the last thing you want to do is have to type those manually, and then every time you change the document, you have to change it manually because you got a lot going on, especially if it's a big document. And so you don't want to have to do that. You want to automate things to keep you from making mistakes. And you can do that really easy with the styles feature up here at the top. And so when I change something to a style, right, it's something that it's basically I can pick what I want it to look like, and I can do that for anything else that has some sort of settings like that. So everything looks consistent. Like if I want all my title headers to make sure they look the same, rather than again going in and manually doing all that. And so I'm going to create a new one. So I already have one. I use this bear down one that I created. But what I'm going to do is I know this is going to be a section header. So I'm just going to highlight introduction and then on the styles drop down. This looks a little bit odd. I don't know why it's in a different sheet. I'm going to do something like this. This isn't really what I want. I'm going to go down. Sorry, I don't know why I was doing that. Click on the drop down up here. And then I'm going to do create a style. And this is up to you in terms of how you want it. Name it whatever you want. So I'm going to do like Word tutorial section headings or something like that. Section headings. And then you want to modify it. And so this is really important for the table of contents. And so the style type, right, again, we're going to start with all these being paragraphs. You technically can do tables and lists or characters, but again, I'm going to stick with paragraph. And then it needs to be based on. So you want to always base this on one of the primary headings, because that is what the table of contents is going to use. And there's like a million in here. And honestly, I have no idea what most of these are. But you'll see, so I'm going to make this heading 1. And then you can modify it however you want. So I have mine as Times New Roman. I might set it as, let's do 14 to make the section titles a little bigger. I like the U of A blue. I think it's kind of aesthetically pleasing. You don't have to do that. You can do whatever color you want. And then there's some basic things down here where, okay, it tells me the font. Right now it's single spaced. You could change the alignment and things like that. You probably don't want to for a heading. And then if you wanted to like maybe have a little space after that, you could automatically update and things like that, but I'm not gonna, yeah, I'll check that box. So each time I see it, it'll pop back up here. You could set new templates to be this one as standard if you want. I'm not gonna do that, but if you wanna do some more detailed formatting, right? So I want it to be bold all the time, 14 Times New Roman, that's really nice. If you wanted to go deeper, you could like go into font and you get a lot more, right? So a lot more stuff. And again, that's kind of unnecessary. I like honestly the spacing stuff. So I like to do format and then paragraph, and then you can kind of use your spacing. And so I might want maybe 2 points of spacing, and it gives you a little preview down here. So I'm just going to type 2 points after that title, and I shouldn't have hit enter. Paragraph. 2 points after, and note there's just a little bit of a space there, which is really nice. You can change it, maybe if you want double spacing, if you want it to be lighter. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do single. And then, so this is just for the section headers. You could then like add page breaks and things like that. It doesn't really matter where you like add breaks. Again, there's a ton to explore here. But I like kind of the spacing. You can kind of mess with the indentation if you want. Again, I might not. Maybe I'll do 4 or something like that. And you'll kind of see I have a little spacing there. Then under the paragraph, you could do another one where if you wanted to like single or double space it, you could do that. Again, I believe that's under, I think you'd have to do a second style like body text or something like that. But just kind of showing you that. So I'll do OK, and then I'll do OK. And it automatically does this. If I want to set all the rest of these like this, what you can do is go to the left and just click. And then if you hold Control and then just click again left of every line that you want to do this. So I don't want the bullets because those are things within each section, but I want these titles. So I'm just holding Control, it may be Command for a Mac, and clicking, and then just you should see the new style up here. So I'll do style here. All right, now what you can do for a table of contents is, and I'll do it maybe underneath, is I can do my insert, and then actually it's not under insert, it's under, I believe, go to references. It's in kind of a weird spot. It should be an insert, but whatever. on the far left, you should say insert table of contents. And if you do the drop down, it gives you some previews. Like heading 1 would be far left, heading 2 would be second left. You can name it different things and then modify it. I usually just honestly go with the first one, I believe. And then note they're automatically in here. And then it automatically knows again what page everything should be on. So if I moved maybe half of these down, it doesn't automatically update, but what you could do is update table and then tell it update the entire table. You always want to do that just because if you like add in a section or something like that, and then it has it right there, which is really nice. And I believe we can check really question. Let's make sure, let's see, I'll delete this. If you want it, and you can rename this like table of contents or something like that. So table of contents. And then you can, again, kind of change the numbers or anything like that. But I believe if you use a subheading, so let's maybe say I want to make this a subheading. So if I did home, and then you can do some standard styles. Again, I like to set up my own ones, but like heading 2, I believe is going to be a subsection. So like it would kind of go in, but I'll try it. So I'll just select this one because it's kind of a standard one. And then if I go into my document, update table, update entire table, you'll note that it's indented a little bit. So if you like that and you want to do subsections, that's perfectly fine. Just I would have it again, I would create one that you care about or that you like. So I would do something like create style, and I might do subheading tutorial or something like that, tutorial, and then modify it. And I'm going to make this one maybe U of A red, something like that. And then it has table of contents 1. I'm not sure why that's kind of the standard one, but I would do heading 2 and then do OK. And then, oh, it's because I was logged on it because I was clicked on it. Duh, Gray, terrible idea. So here, I'll do this, create a style. Again, I'll just do like testing just to make our life a little bit faster. And then I want heading 2, okay, make it bear down red. Maybe I want it bold as well. Maybe I want it italicized and do okay. And then each time I do that, so maybe I'll make this a subsection 2. You should see it popped up here. And maybe this one you want to indent a little bit. So you can always right click and modify. And then I believe under the format, you can do paragraph and say, hey, this is at a different level. So I want to indent to the left, maybe, I don't know, let's do 0.1 inches. Do okay, do okay. And it's nice because when you change that, every one like that changes, which is really, really nice. Okay, for the introduction, this is just a thing when you're reading through the final draft. Please don't write I found, right? It's a team. You say we found. And please understand your audience is not Gray, it's not Brent, it's not John, right? It's whoever your case is. So Office Depot leadership team or Club Corp organization, things like that. Right, so please make sure you're kind of writing it like that. For the Tableau data dashboard, so make sure you have a description of the visual, and then what we want you to do is a link to your Tableau dashboard that doesn't look terrible. All right, so you should have a description and then the link. And what we mean is we want you to hyperlink it. And so what I would do is I will go and I'll find my Tableau public profile. And I'll do here, and I should kind of already be logged in. Yeah. All right, so I have my link to my profile. I wouldn't link to my whole profile. I would find, hey, the one I want, and I'll use this one as just an example. It's like a resume that I created. I would take either the not the download, I would do the share button, which is here, and then copy the link. You technically, I think, could copy this URL. It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to copy it, make sure I get it all. And then what I want to do is I want to hyperlink it. So this looks terrible, right? It doesn't look good, doesn't look professional. So instead of having that, I'm just going to undo. I'm going to highlight whatever word, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to do link. So I want to link it, and it should automatically be set up now to do existing file or web page. Right, so what you do is, well, the address, you paste the link in, you do okay, and now it looks like this. And so I know it's hyperlinked. If you hover over and try and click, it's not going to let you. On a PC, you can see the bold there. It says hold Control and click. Right, and then it should kind of take me go through there. When you save this as a PDF, it's just auto clicked as you go through. And so you can kind of see it takes me there. Much nicer, much cleaner, much more professional. Make sure, again, you have the description and then the link. Don't just have the link. See the case for the required pieces for the statistical analysis and all of these. And then the last piece is going to be kind of the appendix and basic professionalism. So in terms of professionalism, you better not submit anything that has R2, something like that. It's so easy to use the superscript feature to write this correctly. And so all you have to do is, right, if you're on the Home tab, go up here, you should have this little toolbar, and right, note this little X squared, right? That says, hey, I want the superscript. So I click on that, I type the 2, and then make sure you unclick it, because if not, you'll just like space and you'll be doing this, but you'll periodically find one like that. You're like, oh no. All right, so make sure you type the 2, which type square and 2. You could also, if you get done and you do it, what you can do is highlight it and say, hey, I want this up in the superscript. All right, and then you can either click away from it, or if it's still in there, again, just remember that you need to click off of this. Same thing with superscript. So if you like to write standard error like this, or if you want to write a dummy variable, so if you want something in the script, again, you can highlight it. Instead of doing superscript, you do subscript. All right, so click this, makes it small. All right, we're going to be a little more strict on our equations here. So if I did insert, and then I have my equation. Make it look nice. So again, make sure it has the hat on top of it. So I'm going to do a general one. I'm predicting sales. Use the arrow key to get out, and then equals, and then just 25, I don't know, minus 15. And then let's say I want like a dummy variable if they're in the United States. And again, this is all made up. I usually like to have the D in the subscript. And so the equation editor actually makes that a little bit easier. So you just do script, and then down here, so I can just do like USA, and then a little parenthesis, D. Okay, so make sure, again, you're writing this out professionally. We know that the equation editor looks ugly once it goes down a couple lines. So you can always click this little drop down and play around with the different justifications to try and make it look easier. It's up to you. Whatever you think looks nice. In terms of whether it's left justified or centered, we're not really going to care. We understand that it's going to go on multiple lines, so it's not a problem. Okay, so labeling the figures. And so I'm going to get rid of this style. You're probably going to have several different figures within the document, and they need to be, again, labeled professionally. And so I'm going to do, like, maybe we'll have 3 figures. So I'm going to do figure 1, and this will be maybe regression output. And then figure 2 would be maybe residual plots. Right, residual plots for common violations. And maybe here I'll for prediction of sales model, something like that. Just so they're very, very descriptive. And maybe I would do figure 3, and this would be like correlation matrix for common violations. And there's actually like a little bit easier way, again, to like get these. So maybe at some point you're working a larger document and these things are going everywhere. You're changing where figures are at. Again, you don't want to have to kind of automatically update that because you have a lot going on. And so there is a feature where you can insert like captions for figures that Word lets you do. I believe it's under the References tab. And so note there's insert table of figures. So you could also have that because people really like pictures. But the first thing I believe is it's a caption. All right, so you need to insert a caption. And so let me just go find a picture and I'll bring it in here. Okay, so I found a picture. So I'm gonna use a picture. So figure 0, Gray's dog, Pearl. All right, and so here's a picture of my dog Pearl with her favorite thing. And so I can do, on this picture, if I click on it, I can do insert a caption. And I can tell it, like, hey, it is a figure. It knows that. It's actually the first figure in the list, so it kind of starts with that. And so I can type that in here. So I could say maybe Gray's dog, Pearl. And then you can do a bunch of things like, hey, do you want it above or below? I think BCom likes it below. I like it above. I don't really care, but I'll do there. You can change kind of the labeling if you want. I like that it's consistent. You can do numbering if you really want. I think this is fine. So if you do okay, then it kind of goes here. I like it to be a little smaller, so maybe, or a little bigger. So I might do 12 or something like that. And then once you again start moving these things around, so let's say, let me go find another picture. All right, so I found another one. So I'm going to do this one. Here's a picture of me before Kentucky's worst loss in probably program history to 15 seed St. Peter's, the Peacocks. I'm still bitter. We suck. Bear down, right? I wish U of A would have gone further. But so again, I can do again insert, and actually it's under again references, I believe, and then insert caption, and it already knows like, oh, it's the second figure in the list. And so you could do something like figure 2, rooting for losers. All right, something like that. Let's say Gray rooting for losers. Okay. All right, and this one kind of puts it here. And so then again, I wish that maybe there's a way to kind of set it up to where they're all a little bit bigger. But then if you want, maybe in an appendix, I might try and get these on the same page. Maybe before you do that, you could do something like insert, again, it's references, Gray, come on, table of figures. And it should be set up. You can, again, play around if you want. But right there where it's kind of an outline, and it includes the page numbers if you really want them. And then I believe if you cut this and if I move it, put it down here, it doesn't auto update, which stinks. It used to, so if I do, I think if you do edit or something like that, let me update this and see how, it doesn't update either. So it's less like the table of contents, which stinks. So you have to kind of follow in order with that one, which that's less awesome, less wonderful. I'm sure there's a way. I just don't know it. I'm not a word expert either. If I can edit the caption. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so then the last piece, oh, where did Pearl go? Let's get something you all like to see. Okay, do Pearl. What if I wanted to link this in the document? So maybe under the statistical analysis, I'm like, I don't know, and I want to turn the style off. I want to, like, maybe you have the R-square and standard error interpretations, something like that, or maybe a common violations section. The nice thing about these sections too is when you do that, you can kind of condense them as well. So like if you're done with something, you can click on that and be like, all right, I don't want to look at it anymore. And so you could have like R-square and standard error interpretations, and then right below it, let me just get it on the same page so we can all see. What you can say is something like C whatever. Let's see, figure 1 for a full review of the regression output. And it could be like, click here. And you can link it down there. And so instead of, it's similar, I'm going to have to do another step, but it's the same process as a hyperlink. If you don't like right click and link, if you do insert and link, note there are actually places where it's like places in the document. Right now, it doesn't have anywhere like anywhere in here. You can actually link to a new document as well. So like if you have one saved on your computer or something like that. which is really nice. But first, we need to tell it where to go look. And this is something you would do at the very, very end. And so what I would do is I would go down here and I'm going to bookmark figure 1. And so I'm going to highlight this and then I'm going to insert, and then it's on the insert tab, go to bookmark, right? And then you just title this because it's just saying, hey, this is a location in the document. So I would say figure 1. And then I might do the title, right? Grace dog. Again, don't reference your dog in there. Oh, in the title, I forgot. You can't use like spaces. It has to be all together. So what I usually do is I'll do an underscore. So shift and then right next to the plus equals key, figure 1 underscore Pearl. And then if you do add, it looks like nothing happens. But then when I go back up here and I say, okay, click here, I could do then right click or insert link and then place in the document, you should see figure 1. So you do okay. And so, oh, nice, in the document, especially when it's a PDF, it's just an auto, you'll click on it and it'll take you down there. One thing I want to worry or caution you about is please don't take the viewer down here and then leave them. This is especially true for like a 50-page document. I've read research papers. It's like, oh, I'd love to go see that table. And then I get down here and I'm like, ah, man, I got to go all the way up. And so it's easy to, again, just do the same thing, right? Whereas where do you want them to come back to? Well, I want them to come back here. And so I'm going to insert a bookmark here. So insert a bookmark. And I'll title this one a different one. So I'll say, maybe I want it to be return and then underscore from figure 1. It needs to be something you remember. And it makes sense, because if not, you'll forget a document. You'll be like, ah, daggone it, which one was what? So if you do add, again, nothing happens. But then if you go here, right, you can put maybe under the image or alongside, like something like return to, I don't know, related section or something like that. And then you just do this. Maybe you italicize it and then you right click, you do link or insert link, and then again, place in the document and go to the return. You do okay. That way I can just go here and then I can come back and it takes me right to where I want to be. So super easy. And so we want all the figures like that. We want them linked, right? Link somewhere to the output and then bring me back. All right, so make sure you can do that. Let me see here. Other things. Yeah, just make sure it looks nice. Can't remember. Yep, remind, right, we're hyperlinked back. Again, there's a lot to explore. I think this was at least a good section. The nice thing also about headings is if you go into review or using the styles, if you do, I believe it's under review. No, it's under view. You can change like how you want to look at it. Some people really like the draft where it's like full screen. I hate it. Some people really like, not this one, close the outline view. If you go to view and then outline, that's not what I want. What do I want to do? I want to view, oh, the navigation pane right here. Then it will be broken down into a bunch of different sections. So where like you can quickly go through on the left and right. And these only exist, again, because I've used those headings and subheadings. All right, so you can do that. And you can look at the pages. The results is if you want to search through it. But that's just, honestly, that makes life a little bit easier. I like to really condense things. You can go to the top and the bottom really easily and things like that. Yeah, and so now it's kind of up to you. So keep your table of contents on its own page. So insert page break. It means it guarantees it's always going to be there. And then you always, right before you're done, this doesn't automatically update without you telling it like, hey, update the table, update the entire table. So then it updates. And yeah, make sure that you have the headings, the page numbers. You don't need a table of figures if you don't want them, but they do need to be referenced and then linked in the document and then take me back. All right, again, make sure it looks nice. Same thing with your Excel screenshots. Please don't Please don't submit one that's kind of ugly. So I'll show you here. I'll go find one. These, a lot of ones that I'll get from the regression tables, they'll look like this and like everything is cut off. We want to make this thing as nice as it possibly can be. And so like John always does at the end, these two confidence intervals are unnecessary. So you can delete them. And then to auto fit things, you just highlight across everything and then double click. That means I can see all the variable names. I can see all the words. I can see everything. So when you take this table, you're going to want to copy it, Control or Command C, and then in the document, you would just do something like, oh, it's still heartbreaking, something like here and have this picture so we can see everything. And we know this isn't amazing. Honestly, you can mess around if you want to like make these look kind of nice. You can with these like automatic. You don't have to. Especially because like it cuts off, especially with the border a lot. And some of these are just ridiculous. You'll see these like, why would I ever do that? But you could do like a picture border. Maybe you think the black border looks good, and maybe around it or something. Something just to like make it look less like a terrible Excel screenshot. But at least we can see everything, right? Rather than have all the variable names and stuff like that covered up. Same thing with the residual plots. Make sure that they're sized correctly and so we can kind of see them. You could do one screenshot with like 3 in there. We don't recommend any more than that. So just do a couple where you can have multiple sections. You can have each section or each figure be for a different variable. Same thing with the correlation matrix. When you're checking for the final violation, I need to be able to see all the variable names. Right. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you all. I hope you learned a little bit, and I look forward to seeing how these documents turn out.